Today we focus on a silent force behind India's green revolution, the Mexico-based International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center called CIMMYT. From transforming India into a food surplus nation to battling climate change and malnutrition, CIMMYT has been a global pioneer. But with funding challenges like the recent US aid shutdown, how will it sustain its mission? What role India will play in this critical journey? We have with us Mr. Bram Govetz, Director General, CIMMYT. Thank you for joining with PTI.
Pleasure as always. Thank you for inviting me.
Dr. Govetz, CIMMYT was a cornerstone of India's green revolution, helping us achieve food security. Now with the US aid funding tap turned off, how is CIMMYT planning to keep its research alive and strengthen its impact in India? What's the game plan to fill this financial void?
First and foremost, I think we need to recognize what CIMMYT and India together have achieved. Because indeed, not only did we turn the country into a food secure country, but also for the entire region, India played a key role in our journey and in that green revolution. However, today, challenges are mounting. Climate change is pressuring our farmers and our food security and resilience. Just right now, we see farmers suffering from the floods that just happened, and let's take a moment to recognize that and to express our sympathy. That means we need to work harder to design around the farmer, around her, the innovations that she needs to still be productive and play the role to supply food for all of us. It are changing times, it are challenging times, and yes, we received considerable support from the US government throughout history. Now also today, nations like Mexico, like India, need to step up in order to together think about a new model of financing, but also a new model of sustaining our relationships where together we can work for the region, we can work for Africa. So it's a challenging time, but we're also convinced that what we are doing is so central to the well-being of the entire society that it must be possible to find the new funding models.
Have you been successful in getting the funds?
We have been a bit successful on the one hand. On the other hand, we still need urgently increased funding. Funding not only for CIMMYT, but also for the partners. ICAR has been a clear partner. We have private sector partners, we have NGOs that work with us. So if we talk about funding and investment, it is in CIMMYT, it is also into the entire ecosystem. So we're making progress, but it needs to go faster. And a clear example, for example, is that India worked with CIMMYT when in 1999 in Uganda, a new rust disease came up. We could respond so fast. The reason that you probably and your audience have never heard of UG99 is thanks to the collaboration with India and many other countries. We picked up the disease. None of the wheat varieties were resistant. We went back to our gene bank or our biodiversity bank in Mexico, 124,000 different wheats that we have available. We found some that were resistant. We incorporated them in the successful seeds for India. Those were planted with farmers, and guess what? UG99 never threatened the food security of Indian consumers. Today, if we don't find resources by the end of the year, those surveillance systems will go down and our response capacity will go down. So private sector and society have been used to some kind of a business continuity insurance, an insurance that life can go on, an insurance that business can go on. We were part of that insurance. So now it's time to think, how much is that insurance worth?
Climate change is hitting hard. Erratic rains, scorching heat and new pests. What are CIMMYT's top priorities under your leadership to protect maize and wheat yields globally and specifically in India, where farmers are on the forefront of this crisis?
If in the past our lemma was probably increasing the yield, today we are in need to increase resilience. Just yield increase is not what this is about. This is about maintaining yields throughout. And so therefore we need to take a systems approach in which we still have the right varieties that are drought resistant, frost resistant, flood resistant, but also have enough value of nutritional quality and of course are resistant to the diseases. Pests and diseases are evolving under climate change, as is the climate hammering the crop in different ways. Last but not least, we need to do crop diversification. I'm the director of the Maize and Wheat Center, but sometimes we need to promote to plant less wheat or less maize. When we plant it, it needs to be good maize, good wheat, but then diversify with millets, chickpeas, groundnuts, so that we can really construct resilient systems and healthy diets at the same time. And that, of course, coincides with a lot of the vision expressed also here in India, that we need to eat more pulses, we need to eat millets. Remember the year of the millets, that was a very successful Indian endeavor.
Genetically modified or genome-edited wheat could revolutionize yields, but regulatory roadblocks and public skepticism are real hurdles. What are the biggest challenges CIMMYT faces in bringing these innovations to farms on a commercial scale?
So first and foremost, for CIMMYT, it is very important that all the different options are available in the public sector as an international public good. Whatever CIMMYT does is available for everybody. Now, why is this important? Because we strongly believe that farmers, but also society, needs to look at the farmer and societal problems and then take the decisions how you want to solve those problems. And when that decision is taken, the options need to be available. Same thing with transgenics. Transgenic CIMMYT has worked on it. We have the technologies in the public domain, but we only deploy them when the countries want to and when the regulatory frames make it possible to do so safely. Today, however, we are more and more investing in gene editing. Gene editing is different from transgenics, and transgenics is a bit of an old technology. The future is really the gene editing piece. And in gene editing, you are staying within the same crop. You're just accelerating the normal, traditional breeding process. We see a lot of options and future in the gene editing, and we know several countries we're working with to produce that regulatory frame, to together generate the framework and to make sure that that technology is available. So what CIMMYT then does is actually making sure that the best what is available in the world to do gene editing, we have access to it and we can activate it within an international public goods framework that then makes it available for everyone in a public-private partnership setting.
CIMMYT has tested GM wheat in the labs but has not gone commercial yet. Do you see a future where GM varieties hit the fields, or are the barriers like regulatory and social too steep to climb?
So today we need to go faster, better with our traditional breeding, being able to respond to UG99, as I mentioned, on time. So let's keep that funding flowing. At the same time, we are working on gene-edited wheat. We think that is a technology that can work. As you will say, genetically modified or transgenic wheat varieties have not been a success in the sense that it is also a very different crop to work with. But today we are investing in gene editing, and I think if we work together, we keep all options available, and it's going to be the decision of the society to use those.
So when is the new variety going to be launched?
So gene editing varieties in India are not yet available. CIMMYT is just doing the research on those, especially also we're also doing research on millets, for example, around rancidity. Right now they are in the experimental stage. We cannot yet put a date when they would be commercially available.
Malnutrition remains a stubborn challenge, and CIMMYT's zinc-rich wheat varieties have been a game changer. How is CIMMYT pushing the envelope further to tackle hunger and boost farmers' incomes through cutting-edge crop science?
So indeed, that's one of the solutions to nutritional challenges has been our zinc-improved wheat varieties. And I think it's very important to stress that this is not a niche factor. Right now, those zinc-improved varieties are streamlined throughout everything we do. So if the lines or if the new varieties are not high enough in zinc, we don't call them successful, we don't bring them to the farmers. But that alone is not enough. We're now also working on healthy diets, so diversifying the crops. And we're also expanding our initiatives so that farmers can take better decisions on how to work for nutrition and how to work for resilience. So I'm very proud that we launched yesterday, for example, our atlas. It is an atlas that looks at what technologies and innovations are available. It is an atlas that shows the options to farmers to do crop production under a resilient framework. Same way, yesterday we also launched a new initiative, which is an initiative called ARC, which wants to create agricultural resilience in order to prevent conflict. Because not only do we need to produce sufficient for today, we also are very conscious that wherever production falls short, wherever food security falls short, it will create conflict, and you cannot build peace on empty stomachs.
Back in 1970s, CIMMYT bet big on open-pollinated maize varieties. Did this focus slow down the adoption of hybrid maize seeds and the rise of India's private seed industry? How did that strategy shape today's maize farming landscape?
So it's a bit the same in the sense that you have OPVs, you have hybrids. Now, OPVs have a role to play, and we can increase yields through OPVs. But if you really want to increase yields, want to make sure that maize can have the characteristics to respond to the resilience challenges that we have, the hybrid maize is what made the revolution. But also is what created a vibrant seed sector in India. And we're proud of that small seed companies that have worked with CIMMYT to make those hybrid varieties available. So the revolution of maize definitely was through hybrid maize varieties. That doesn't mean that OPVs cannot play a role for smallholder farmers that are actually focusing on an initial increase of yield, that are focusing on crop diversification. So CIMMYT hasn't abandoned the work on OPVs at all. It depends on which farming system you are, what the best solution is.
New seeds don't always mean new harvest. Farmer preferences, weak seed systems and red tape often stall progress. How is CIMMYT tackling these socio-economic and cultural barriers to ensure its varieties actually reach and benefit farmers?
What a fantastic question, because that allows me to highlight our 2030 CIMMYT strategy. In that strategy, we're no longer talking seeds, we're talking systems interventions. And systems sound sometimes complicated, but it's finding that simplicity in the complexity, because a system intervention exactly means what you're highlighting. Yes, we can have the innovations, yes, we can have the seeds, but actually we need to start from the farmer need. And a farmer doesn't only need seeds, needs a system that works for her. So we are working strongly on designing those systems and then backwards incorporating our seeds, but also working on the policy framework and also working on the ecosystem around that, so that small companies can thrive, that there can be entrepreneurship, that women entrepreneurs can bring solutions to those farmers.
From traditional crossbreeding to futuristic genome editing, how is CIMMYT striking a balance between time-tested methods and biotech breakthroughs to sustainably boost maize and wheat production?
It's kind of a pipeline in the sense what is available today. We need to make sure that millions have access to it. And that is an effort where in our strategy, for example, we have a specific pillar that is called system development. So it's where we go in with big programs. We use our farms in India as demonstration farms. We create an ecosystem working with last mile delivery partners so that they can bring what is tested, what is available as fast as possible, as effective as possible into those farming systems and into those farming communities. At the same time, there is a team of scientists working on those breakthrough new modern technologies so that the rest or the new can be developed, so that what is the next can be developed and can actually be made available for those farmer families. We call it resolving today tomorrow's problems. We need to be forward looking while we respond and make available what is already there.
Food insecurity is not just India's fight, it's a global crisis. How is CIMMYT taking its maize and wheat breeding innovations beyond India to other developing nations struggling to feed their people?
CIMMYT is an international organization, and we are proud from the start and the nascence of our organization that we were not only about technology, but we were also about a space of having conversations around food security also as an element of national and international security and peace building. So we still strongly believe that today, going back to the roots is what we need to do. Creating that space where nations can come together and together create a response to food security. Because global food security is in the interest of every single individual nation at the same time. So that working together across multiple countries is what CIMMYT does. We're active in more than 80 countries where we're working around maize, wheat, but also sorghums, millets, the systems approach. And at the same time, of course, we need to keep stimulating that global conversation where nations can come together around food security as a good that goes above geopolitical tensions.
CIMMYT's partnership with Indian giants like ICAR and Borlaug Institute of South Asia are critical. How are these collaborations evolving to tackle emerging threats like climate change and ensure crops remain resilient and productive?
Today we are having high-level conversations to, in a way, renegotiate our partnership so the partnership can become stronger. So because we do see India and Indian institutions to play a leading role, not only for Indian food security, but for global food security. So we want a vibrant ICAR that can respond together with CIMMYT to the needs. We want a BISA at the level of really a regional institution that can serve from India the regional needs, Nepal, Bangladesh, and work together in such a regional setup. So we want to launch the initiatives that can bring those institutions to a global leadership role together with CIMMYT.
India owes much of its food security to CIMMYT's past work. With funding system drying up, what role do you envision for India in supporting CIMMYT's future research? Is it time for India to step up and repay the Green Revolution debt?
It is absolutely time for India to step up. But this is not about paying a debt. This is about creating together a future that was expressed actually in the One World vision. This is the moment to make that one world real on food security. CIMMYT is there. We have successfully worked together to put India where it is today. We can successfully work together. We will successfully work together. We should successfully work together in order to do the same now in the current challenges and to project together food security for the world.
CIMMYT's work reminds us that the fight for food security is far from over. It's a battle against climate, funding and skepticism waged one seed at a time. India's role in this story is pivotal, not just as a beneficiary, but as a potential leader. Thank you, Dr. Govitz, for your insights. Stay tuned for more stories that matter.
As always, a pleasure. Thank you very much for this opportunity.